Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Tim. Tim is from New York City in the USA. So let's see what Tim has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Hey,
Hello,
William.
Tim. Hey, how are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Tell me, how are you doing today?
I am well. I am coming to you from Nashville,
Ah,
not New York. I've had a little bit of an adventure this week. The universe saw fit to bring me to Nashville. I
wow.
yeah, uh which is funny because the object that I was going to talk about, I had to change my object because my object's home and I don't have it at the moment. So I'm going to talk about
Oh,
the object, but that's okay because I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. But yeah, it's been an adventure. We had terrible weather on the East Coast here in the United States, and it caused all this travel problems. And I was supposed to be back in New York on Sunday, and I'll be back tonight. So it's been an adventure.
wow. And why Nashville?
So I was on an artist residency in rural Tennessee, and it was just the closest airport. And the administrator of the nature preserve where I was staying for the last 2 weeks, he drove me basically drove me to the airport. It's the closest airport from to where we were. No,
I see. And so you are originally from New York City.
not originally. I am originally from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
If you've seen The American Office, and of course, it's also Joe Biden's hometown. But I've lived in New York now. I mean, the bulk of my life, I've lived in New York City.
What's the biggest joy of waking up in New York City every morning?
I get to go to my favorite cafe around the corner and hang out with my neighbors and Joel, who owns the cafe, who's the most amazing. He's kind of the mayor of Prospect Leverett Gardens, and so it's always fun to like watch him interact with everyone in the neighborhood. It
Wow,
actually is a really great joy. I mean, I really love my neighborhood, and that's the thing about New York that people don't realize. People think of New York as this huge, overwhelming city, but actually, it's a city of all these little neighborhoods, and you kind of get into you once you hook into the neighborhood and hook into the people in the neighborhood, it's a very different experience. New York becomes a very different place.
I see. And
Yeah.
all your family are back in Pennsylvania, or you have some family in New York City as well?
Primarily, yes, almost my entire immediate family, my mother, my brother, my sister, and my niece are all in New York. I'm sorry, in Scranton, and also my most most of my aunts and uncles, not all, but most are in Scranton.
I see. And what do you do for work, for living, Tim?
Well, I do several things. For a living to actually pay my rent and put food in my stomach, I do medical editing. So
Mhm.
basically, I've worked for several different agencies. I freelance. And In the pharma space, the advertisements that you see, well, you don't, you're not, they don't allow pharma advertising in Europe. So you guys don't have that. See, we have it. It's like it's saturated here. It's like everywhere you look, there's ads for drugs and ads for medical treatments. Um, so we do that, but we create the PowerPoint presentations that doctors take to medical conferences to talk about whatever the research is they've done. We create the marketing materials that the reps, which you do have in Europe, that you do have, that the reps take to try to sell drugs to doctors. So we create all of those different kinds of materials. It's a highly specialized segment of advertising, and everything in any medical asset or piece of literature that's produced, every single thing in that piece has to be fact checked, and it has to all pass has to use proper FDA language. And so it's a very specialized thing. I fell into it totally by chance. It was completely random, and I've just been able to write it for the last 25 years and to make my living. But I'm a theater artist and a writer, and I taught theater at Hunter College, which is part of the City University of New York, for 10 years. I ran a theater company called Theater Askew for 10 years. I'm
Wow.
currently working on a solo show. that's going to be performing at Dixon Place, which is an alternative experimental theater in New York City on July 23rd. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's and then I also read tarot cards, people as sort of a side gig, and that's actually what I'm gonna. That's actually the object I brought in, are my
Okay.
cards. Yeah.
So, as you mentioned about already, so every interview I do, I always ask my guests to bring something special to the show, something that means a lot to them. So, what can you share?
I brought this, and there's actually several components to it. So I'm gonna take each piece at a time. So there's this beautiful, it's sort of this hand crocheted little carrying case for tarot cards. And this was gifted to me a few years ago. I did a spiritual street fair out. I used to live in Weehawken, New Jersey, which is on the other side of Hudson River from Manhattan. And there's a local spirit, like a sort of witchcraft crystal store. The guys, I think they're from Ecuador originally. He and his sister own it because there's a lot of Latino immigrants in West New York. And so he set up this sort of spiritual street fair, and I set up my little table and my cards, and nobody wanted a reading. And the woman, there was another tarot reader across the street, and she had a much fancier setup. Like she had a tent, and she had like chairs, and she had like all this merchandise. And it was like so like it was such a contrast. And she was selling these, and she felt so bad that I didn't get a single client all day. That she motioned me over. She said, "Come here, I want to give you something." She said, pick one of these, I'll just give it to you. And so she gave me, and I love it. So I wrapped my cards in it, and these are my cards. And these are the
Wow.
traditional Rider-Waite Pullman tarot cards that everybody knows about. And these cards actually originally belonged to my very dear friend Rachel. And Rachel and I did a lot of work together in theater. She also wrote a book called Leaps of Faith that was published by Farrar Straus Giroux in
Wow.
2000. And the lead character in that book, Flip, is based on me. So we have a very deep connection. And then sadly, about how long ago now is it? Almost 10 years ago. Oh God, it's been almost 10 years. She sadly passed away from cervical cancer.
Wow.
And and when I was helping her brother clean out her apartment, she had so much stuff. She had so many books, and she was very, incredibly well read, but like, it was literally thousands of books and stuff, and he was so overwhelmed. And at one point, he kind of looks at me. He's like, "Tim, look, just anything you want, please take it." And I looked over and I saw her cards, and I said, "I want her cards."
Wow.
And then I pulled a card. I kind of in my head, I said, "Okay, Rachel, what do you want to say to me?" And I pulled this card, which is the Ace of Wands, and it's sort of a hand kind of holding out the baton. And I felt like she really, in that moment, kind of passed the baton on to me.
Wow.
And now I read and she was the one who taught me how to read cards, and I use her technique when I'm reading other people. And I feel like every time, and then I also in my solo show, I actually give a live tarot reading to the audience during the solo show, and I use one of the decks of cards that I use is her cards, and I talk about her at one point in the show, and I talk about how much I miss her, and so I feel like every time I do a daily draw for myself every morning, just part of my daily ritual, just to like check in with the energy. So every morning, I feel like I'm able to connect to her in a really powerful way. And every time I give a reading to somebody else, I feel like she's kind of there helping me give the reading to that person.
I love
And I
it.
have her on stage with me every time I do the show. I feel like her presence is on stage. And so these cards are really important. But there's one more thing in here. There's one more little goodie. So this is another deck of cards that I have, and I am the only person on the planet who has these cards. These are uniquely for me. They were created for me by my friend Gene Wisniewski, also in Weehawken, New Jersey. He was my neighbor, and he's a visual artist. And these are just the major arcana, and he created a whole series of like these beautiful abstract images inspired by the major arcana. And I said, Gene, I love these cards so much. These paintings, would you consider turning them into a deck of cards for me? And he did.
Wow.
And now I use these when I'm with my clients. And we pick one card from this deck to sort of set the overall theme for the reading. And they work beautifully. And what's nice about them, because they're abstract, the meanings aren't fixed. Like every time I look at it, depending on the question the person is asking, I get something different out of it every time. I find something new in the imagery every time. And so I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, very, very lucky to have these. So
Wow.
this anonymous tarot reader and my friend Rachel and my friend Jean, I feel like they're kind of I've carried them with me, every time I give a reading, every time and I travel, I bring them wherever I go. Like I never leave. Everywhere I go, they go. They're always in the suitcase. I always pack them. I never not have them on me. So
Oh my God, I love this story, Tim. Thanks for
yeah,
sharing. It's so
you're
personal.
welcome.
It's so meaningful for you. And what I like the most is about others that somehow left a mark in your life. I think that's is beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Wow, amazing.
Welcome. You're
Love it.
welcome.
Amazing. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
I think, yeah.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Of random fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, before I start the interview, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to answer, always can take another one, okay?
Okay, sure.
Amazing. First question is, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life, what age would that be and why?
Any age, you said?
Yeah, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life,
Yeah, 35.
why is that?
I felt that 35, I was at the sort of peak of my physical conditioning as in terms of my attractiveness. I also I'm HIV positive and I seroconverted to HIV when I was 36. So I feel like also my theater company was really popping at that time. I just felt like it was like I'd also just gotten out of a relationship that was, well, I think I was both. I think the good parts of that relationship were also 35 and the bad parts of the relationship were 35. It was just, yeah, 35 was a good, felt like I was like everything was working for me
Uh-huh.
at that point in my life.
And what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Tim?
I feel like I have an ability to creatively inspire people.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you an example. I'll actually tell you, I'll give you, I from here. This literally happened last night, and I feel like it was a weird reason why I'm here in Nashville. I was having dinner upstairs at the rooftop restaurant here, and it was there was nobody there. It was just me and the bartender, who was a young African American man, and and we actually ended up having this sort of amazing moment of shared thing, which I won't go into right now because I'm not the point of the story. But at the end, but as I was getting ready to leave, I just had this impulse. I don't know where it came from, and I just kind of went on with it. I was like, I was ready to ask for my check, and then something said to me, I said, I want to order one more thing from you, and then I'll settle out. I said, I want you to make me a cocktail. I want you to make me what you think is the best cocktail that you make, or the cocktail that you have the most fun making for somebody. I don't care what it is. You just whatever it is, I'll take it. I'll drink it. But and I don't know where this came from. And it was funny because like he didn't respond the way I thought he was going to. He took this very funny pause, and he kind of wasn't looking at me, but sort of off to the side. He said, "Well, actually, what I do is I just kind of like to make something up." And I said, "I won't." Then great. Then just make something up. And William, I can't tell you, like he just came alive in that moment. And he's like looking at the bar and he's like grabbing stuff. And I can see him like figuring it out in the moment. And he made me it was like the cocktail. I don't know what it was, but it was like this beautiful pink color. Like it was gorgeous and it was
Wow.
delicious. And I'll never be able to recreate it because like I
Oh,
have no idea what he put in it. And I didn't even want to ask him because I have a feeling like he wouldn't even be able to tell me if I had. Like it
wow.
only existed in that moment of creation. This like
Wow.
kind of thing that we did and it was beautiful. I'm never going to probably see this person ever again as long as I live. But like we had this beautiful moment, and it was I think that's when I feel like when I'm at my best is when, oh my God, okay, I'm sitting in the hotel lobby. His picture literally popped up on the screen here of him pouring a cocktail. I swear to God, it just right on the TV screen. That was really weird. Um, Yeah,
Wow.
I feel like that's when I'm at my best as a human being.
And aging for you is something that bothers you, or you just see as a matter of life?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Aging for you is something that
Oh,
bothers you, or you just see as a matter of life?
that's so funny you asked that question, William. For some reason, in the last 2 weeks, I started to feel my age in a way that I never had before.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I just never, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I know I look younger than my biological age. I know that, and I've kept myself together pretty well. And you know, considering other than the HIV, for somebody of my age, I don't really have any medical issues at all, and so I'm very fortunate, very lucky. But like this last 2 weeks, there were these little things that were happening. There was like, ooh, you're getting up there. Like I won't maybe there's a little TMI involved, but you know with like elimination, let's put it that way. If you know if you're feeling me.
I
Yeah.
see. All right. Next question. Let's do it. All right. Next question is, who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
Yeah, Everett Quinton. Everett was a theater artist. He was the surviving partner of the great Charles Ludlam. And it's funny because the object that I was actually going to talk about was this prop from a show that I did with Everett. And so that's what I was going to talk about that. So I guess I'll talk about it in this way. Charles, his partner Charles was the founder of the Ridiculous Theatrical Company. It was, in my opinion, the first sort of actual queer theater company that ever existed on the planet. I know some people might quibble with that statement, but I have for how I define it, that's how I would define it. And then Charles died of AIDS in 1987 and never took over the company and kept it going for another 10 years. And I didn't actually, we really didn't meet until after the company ended. In 2000, I had the idea to curate a festival of ridiculous theater for a small off-Broadway company that I was associated with. And it was the first time that anyone had ever done a retrospective of that particular genre of theater. And I wanted to direct one of Charles's plays. And it turned out there was a writer in the legal documents for the rights that if you hadn't been a member of the original company, you couldn't direct one of Charles's plays in New York City. And
Right.
I knew Charles's biographer. And so I reached out to David. I said, David, look, I really want to do this. Could you put me in touch with Everett? And of course, I was terrified. I mean, I was like, I never, I mean, he was such a huge figure for me. But I reached out to him and he agreed to meet with me and we had coffee. I took him out for coffee and he just was not budging. He wouldn't budge. He wouldn't budge. He wouldn't budge. And I finally got down, I literally got down on my knees in the restaurant, in the cafe.
Oh,
And I said, Everett, please, just please, I'm begging you. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I promise you, you will not regret this. And I did the show I guess I did a good job because from that point on, we were really close. And he did work with my company. He directed me and stuff. And sadly, a little about 3.5 years ago, just January of 2023, he passed away from glioblastoma.
wow.
So it was a huge loss. Um,
Wow.
and but what I admire about Everett tremendously is that he didn't have any formal theater education. He didn't go to college. He never graduated from college. He's not one of these people who, went to Yale School of Drama and has an MFA and blah 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 blah. And he kind of learned by doing. And he
Uh-huh.
was also, I mean, he could be hard. I mean, we had some hard moments together, I'm not going to lie. But he also was incredibly one of the most generous, kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life. And he would do anything for you. And I cherish that. I hold him up both as an artistic model, but also as a model of how to be a person. And he was very passionate about the gay and lesbian and LGBT community and being active in the community and giving back to the community. And so also that sense of obligation of being a queer elder and giving back to the community in as many ways as you can is a huge model for me. So yeah, he really is. He's my lodestar of how to be a human being.
If you could send him a message right now, whatever he's feeling this interview or watch this interview or just feeling the presence, if you could send him a message right now, what would you say?
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Sweet, very sweet. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right, before the next question, what's the biggest joy of work in the theater industry and running a business as well? And what do you find most challenging?
Well, I didn't run my business well. That's the problem. That's why my theater company doesn't exist anymore.
All right.
Although but it was, but I learned from it. I mean, I learned from all of those experiences, and hopefully, I think things are kind of regathering for me, and I hope that going forward, I won't make those same mistakes again. To me, the greatest joy of working in the theater is when it's working the way it should be working, and doesn't always happen, right? But so just making that caveat. But when it's working at its highest potential, and everyone is working at their highest potential and working and united for the greater good, right? That sense of community and that sense of cooperation, and then so first you bring people together in the room to make it, and then you invite other people to come into the room to watch it, right? And so that process of bringing more and more and more people into the room, into the space, to experience the magic and the knowledge transmission and the emotional healing and the joy and the laughter, and if it's a musical, the actual little musical, the sound vibrations that are like working on your body and like actually doing things in your body as you're sitting there, right? So all of these things are happening simultaneously, and the guys backstage who are making sure that nobody gets hurt and nothing falls on you, right? And the costume people who are making sure that your costume gets changed the right way and that it's maintained, and you can go out on stage every night looking good. And the people in the front of the house who are making sure that the theater is clean and safe, and people get to their seats, and so everyone's working together to make this thing happen that then vanishes and disappears, and then you do it all over again the next day, and you recreate it and make it anew and make it, and you bring everyone back. All these people come back together to create this event, and I think that's constant coming together for a unified purpose that to me is the great joy of it.
It's so interesting you're talking about theater. I love the theater. I love to go to see it. And so interesting because when I watch a show in the theater, I just go like, my God, it feels like it's the first time they are doing that. But I'm sure they're doing that every night. They are repeating every time. And it just feels they love what they do. It's hard for sure, but they give the impression that's the first time they are doing it. It's like they open
you have to. That's the art of it. That's the magic of it. That's the great illusion of it. And you yourself have to believe it. You have to believe that it's happening. It's happening. It's never happened before, right?
Totally. I always have the impression I've seen so many, plays and musicals, and of course they've been there for a while, some of them, and I enjoy so much, and I see the hard work, I see the passion when they are doing it. That's why I take the impression that's the first night they are doing, because I can feel the joy come from them. You know what I mean? So that's why it's the magic of the theater. That's how I see. Yeah, great. Next question is, what hurt your feelings?
I don't like when people impose hierarchies on other people, whether it's being imposed on me or if I'm watching, witnessing it. I'll give you an example. I was when I was teaching at Hunter, as an adjunct, you have to be, every semester, one of the senior faculty has to observe you and write an evaluation of your teaching.
Right.
And that can be challenging, although I always got very good evaluations. But I had one of my senior faculty colleagues who did go to Yale School of Drama. Um, he came in and observed my teaching, and I'm a very good teacher. I'm a very good acting teacher, and I love working with my students. I really love working with my students. But and he said in his evaluation, he said, "You're a coach, not a teacher."
Wow.
And that just like hit me. It was so, it really destroyed me. I mean, I shouldn't have, and then I have to be like, he's got his own agenda and just sort of see it for what it is. But like, that really hurt. That really, really hurt. Like it was so diminishing and dismissive. And I don't like that. I don't like when people do that. It really pushes my buttons when people do that.
Do you cry easily, Tim?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for you to get it, that
Yeah.
emotion out.
But it's taken me a while to get that used to not be the case.
Uh-huh.
It's taken me a lot of work to get to the point where I have that emotional availability.
Wow.
I was very hard in acting school. It was very challenging in acting school. I couldn't cry. I was so emotionally locked up, and it's taken decades of work and therapy, of physical work,
Mhm.
of sort of just internal growth to get to the point where I am okay with it and don't feel like, and it just, I sort of let it happen, and I always just, I've learned to like just let it pass through, you know.
In the beginning of the
That needs to
interview,
come out. You know, I read something, it's very interesting. I read something the other day and I didn't know this. When we cry, we're actually releasing stress hormones in our tears.
100%.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
In the beginning of the interview, you're talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
What is being spiritual for you?
Well, I think theater is spiritual.
Mhm.
I mean, it started as we forget that it started as most theaters started as religious ritual.
Okay.
Whether that's in Greece or India or Southeast or Indonesia or Japan or China, it had a religious component to it.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think that when people are operating at their highest creative potential, while at the same time also being mindful of the people around them and not using their creativity as a tool of destruction, right? But as actual uh, building everyone up around them, then yeah, I think it is spiritual. Um, I was out in the, like I just said, I just came back from being out in the country for 2 weeks, and I think, there were many nights when I was there by myself on this huge 100-acre property and sort of just being in the silence of well, not actually, it's not silence. It's actually very noisy because there's birds and there's insects and, there's the wind.
Uh-huh.
Just but being within a different kind of noise environment in nature as opposed to the urban environment that I am used to, I found very spiritual.
I see.
Just that amazing presence of the stars and the sun and birds and insects and plants and all that stuff. It was incredible.
Last question, ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's fun. But before the last question, I'm sure through your career, in the theater, I'm sure you have so many situations or moments, that for you were very special, especially never gonna forget, those moments. But tell me one that you go like, you know what, this moment, I hold close to my heart. I'm sure it's very hard.
Yeah. So in 2006, my theater company, Theater Skew, we did a show called I Claudius. If you ever seen the BBC series I Claudius, the old BBC series, we actually did, and because we never got the rights, but it was a long time ago, so BBC come and sue me. I don't care.
It's okay to keep it. It's okay to keep this part.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, what are they going to do? Like, it was like 20 years ago. I mean, come on, give me a break. So we basically took, I think the original BBC series was 13 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. And my creative partner and I took them and we turned them into a 6-part serial, kind of ridiculous theater adaptation of it, very kind of camp, knockabout. And it was insane because like we did a new episode every Monday night. We did a new episode. So we were like writing the last episodes, casting the next episodes, rehearsing, and it was just this insane, incredible, amazing experience. And
Wow.
the lead actor in that production was a woman named Bianca Lee. Bianca is a trans woman, trans actress, and Bianca is currently co-starring in O'Mary on Broadway right now, and it was in the original company of O'Mary. Um, and and Bianca, when I worked with her in that show, had been having some trouble kind of had not really had her career. And that being Livia in that production changed everything for her. And it opened all these doors. And the final episode, we sort of this doesn't happen in the original. We added this. In the last episode, we brought her back because by that point, Livia, her character was long dead, right? So for the final thing is when Claudius is about to die, I bring her back as her ghost, as the ghost of Livia, and it's Livia who kind of leads her nephew into the afterlife. And by that point, the show had become a real cult hit, and the place was packed. And I'll never forget, because nobody was expecting it, because people who knew the show didn't, the scene doesn't, we made it up, right? We made this scene up. So when she suddenly showed up, everyone not thinking she was going to be there, and Livia and Bianca walked on stage, it brought the house down. People just went, it was like a 2 minute ovation for her. They
Wow.
could barely finish the show. Like people lost their minds. I will never forget that moment as long as I live. It's like the greatest moment I've ever had in the theater. It was like when that show ended, it was such an amazing high for all of us. And it was like it cost nothing. Like there's this organization called Materials for the Arts in New York that's basically it's a collaboration between the Department of Cultural Affairs and the Department of Sanitation. Businesses can don't and the Department of Education. So basically, if you're moving your office, right? You're a business, you're moving your office, and you have to get rid of all this stuff, rather than throwing it away, you call it Materials for the Arts and you say, I want to donate. I've got 10 desks, I've got 6 chairs, whatever it is, doesn't matter. They'll come, they'll pick it up, they'll bring it to the warehouse in Queens, and then if you're an arts organization, you can go there and you
Wow.
can just basically take whatever they have for free. And so we got these like huge bolts of fabric. It's a lot of the fabric places in the fabric district. They'll send stuff out there, and we just got these bolts of fabric for free, and just said, "Here, pick a fabric, make a toga out of your fabric." The space we made that show for like less than 1,000, like I think less than $500. We did that show.
Wow.
And so it was such an amazing example of how you don't have to spend a lot of money to make something great.
Wow. I love this story. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm
Yeah.
sure BBC is going to be very proud of it, for sure.
Yeah, I am very proud of it. People still talk about it to this day. People saw it still say it was one of the best things they've ever seen.
Wow.
One of the best
Last
things I
question
ever
is,
did.
but what I meant was BBC, they're going to be very, very happy that you've done that. Then you made the house go down because of that moment. They would be very proud. Last question is, do you think your priorities have changed since you're younger?
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. I mean, I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be on the cover of Vanity Fair. I wanted to have an Oscar, a Tony Award. And yeah, I mean, it would be great to have those things. But what
Uh-huh.
I realized is that a lot of the mistakes that I made came when I was focused on that and not just on doing the work.
Right.
That you can't focus on that. If that comes, great. But it comes for very few people.
Right.
And you can't make choices and treat other human beings with that as the motivating factor, because I messed up when I did that.
I see. Well,
Yeah.
all right. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay. I'm going to say some words. Just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with family.
There. Pain, trauma,
Money.
lack,
Fear.
working through,
Life.
adventure.
Love.
Ooh, Disappointment.
Religion.
No, thank you.
Sex.
Power.
Politics.
Polarized.
Friendship.
Important.
Desire.
Necessary.
Regret.
All pervasive.
Okay. Success.
Contingent.
Wish.
Theater.
Happiness.
Theater.
One word for New York City.
Home.
One word for USA.
Broken.
And the last one now, one word for the theater industry.
Oh God. Theater industry. Toxic.
Oh.
If you're talking about theater industry, I'm not theater. You said theater industry.
Yeah.
And I treat them. Those are two very different things.
Okay. So one word for theater then.
Then more for theater. Lifeline.
Wow. And why the difference between both, in your opinion?
I'm sorry, what?
Why do you think the theater and theater industry is completely different? You have different words for that.
Well, because theater industry is about making. It's about taking this sacred thing and using it to make money, and then it becomes just about making money.
I see.
And it's about people mistreating each other to get ahead. I mean, those are when people start acting. When you're focusing on theater as a business or an industry and not as a spiritual calling, that's when people start acting badly.
I see. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's play now, Tim and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, of course, in the beginning of the interview, you had your tarot cards with you. Is that okay if you can pick one card for this moment, for this interview right now?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Sure. Well, I also did my daily. It's funny because you asked for a quote. The quote's going to be based on the daily draw, but we can do a card for this interview. I'm going to ask you to pick which deck you want me to draw from. So I've got the traditional tarot. I've got the Literary Witches, which is a divinatory deck. It's famous female writers if they were witches. I've got the Aquarian tarot deck, and I've got the William Blake tarot deck. So the great British painter and writer William Blake is as made cards. Which deck would you like me to choose from?
Okay, I'm gonna go for William Blake because I've been to his exhibition in Tate Modern, and I loved it. And he's very spiritual. I love his painting.
Very spiritual. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle the cards, and you tell me when to stop. Okay, you just tell me when to stop.
Now.
And you want me to pull from the top, the middle, or the bottom?
Let's go for the middle.
You got the naughty card.
Because I'm Scorpio. That's why Scorpio. You know, they're very
Scorpio.
I love it.
This was a very very sensual, creative, because second chakra is both creativity and sex. So this is I think this is a very second chakra card. We had this beautiful energy exchange. We had a very beautiful energy exchange between us today.
I love that. Oh, wow.
Very beautiful. That was a very beautiful energy exchange between the two of us.
I love it. It
was almost as good as having sex, but in a different way. So that's what I would say about this interview.
Oh my God. It couldn't be a better card for that interview. I love it. I love it. And I didn't know about William Blake that you've got the cards as well. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, you can ask me a question now.
Yes. So well, Could I ask you two questions? They're both very simple because they both.
Yeah,
I had my one question, but then you meant said something. I want to ask a follow up.
sure.
So like I said, as you know, I'm in Nashville right now. I had never been to Nashville before I came here, so I think that was part of why I kind of looked at this as an adventure. I felt like I was brought here. So this was a new experience for me. What are three places in the United States where you've never been that you would like to visit?
Great question. I love your question.
Yeah.
Right. So I would love to go to Island because I
Oh,
heard,
yes.
I know, I've been to New
So
York
beautiful. You
City.
must
I've
do
been to
it.
New York City, but I had, some guests in Fire Island. And somehow I just feel like a place where I can just relax
Oh,
and,
you would love it.
yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in the world. Seriously.
Okay. Other place that's, by the way, New York City was a dream and became a dream a few years ago when I went for the first time. Other place in the US, my God, you put me in spot and I love it. Um, you know what? I think I would love to go to Pennsylvania. I had so many guests here on the show from Pennsylvania. I'd love to have a look around in some different places in Pennsylvania, actually.
Philadelphia. I was actually in Philadelphia earlier this year. It's a great city.
Absolutely. And
Great city.
I had a friend. I actually had, one of my guests here on the show. He's a flight attendant, and he's from Philadelphia. He comes to London sometimes, and when he comes to London, he stays on the show. He always go for a meal, and he comes next week actually. From Philadelphia. Philly, I love Philly. Say Philly, I love it.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Third place. You know what? I'd like to go to Atlanta.
To where?
To Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Atlanta
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in Georgia.
Atlanta's great.
So
Yeah.
I think I would go to those places, and I'm sure after we hang up, I'll go like, oh, I wish I had said this place, that place, because I think,
Those are all great. Those are all great places to visit.
absolutely,
And very
and
different. They're all very different, which is what's
100%,
also great about the United States. Like
hundred
it's
percent.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so then I wanted to ask you a follow-up. I loved when you started talking about theater. That made me so happy. When the best, you want to suck up to a theater person, just tell them how much you love theater, and we're going to be your best friend. So, what was the last thing you saw that you really liked? The last
Oh
piece
my
of theater
God,
you
I
saw that
went
you
to
really,
see.
really liked?
Okay, I went to see Dracula with the what's her name, the from the English actress. She was in Wicked.
Well, Cynthia Riva.
Yes, so I went to see Dracula.
She's in
Oh
Dracula?
no, but it's a new version that they did it. She's alone in the whole play. She's talking all the time, like
She does all the characters?
all the characters
Oh my God,
alone.
that sounds
I never
amazing.
seen something like that in my life, literally. And she was talking, it was camera following her all the time. She was alone in the scene. Of course, some of the scenes they had like a big screen, and she was dressed as different characters, but she was interacting with them at the same
So
time
there was a
and
lot,
change
there's a live video. Oh wow.
and change costumes.
Oh wow.
Everyone goosebumps just talking about that. Was the last play I saw it, and
Oh,
my blind was like
oh,
couldn't believe.
fantastic. I love it.
And tomorrow I'm gonna go to see King Boots.
Oh, Kinky Boots. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
go to see tomorrow. Great question, and I think it's yeah. That's so I'm going to. I love theater in London. My God, there is always plays, and there's always something happening. So I love it. So yeah, I went to see Dracula with Cynthia, and which oh my God, she was amazing. I couldn't believe. Literally, I was so how she could memorize that for 2 hours, no stop. She was literally talking very fast. I literally one point I thought maybe she was miming, but she was literally talking like through the whole time, no
Yeah,
stop. I couldn't believe. Literally, I was like my mind was blown. I was like couldn't believe
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyway, great question. Yes, that was the last one I saw it. I loved it.
Great.
Did you enjoy the interview?
I love it. This is great. I had a great
Thanks,
time.
thanks again, Tim. Thanks for bring your passion about theater. Thanks for bringing your energy. I love that. I love to have passionate people here on the show. I love to see people, talking about their path and see their eyes shining talking about it. I love that. So thanks for taking the time. Thanks for making. I know you are away from your hometown and you made time for the interview. So appreciate your time for sure.
Of course, of course.
And before you go, if you can share a positive message, a positive quote, or anything that you live by.
Yeah. Well, yes. Let me just find it here. Yes. So like I said, I do a daily card draw every day just to kind of check in with the energy. And the message in the cards today, very interestingly, was the power of silence.
Wow.
And so I thought I looked up, I Googled quotes about silence, and I found one that I wanted to share. And it's actually a quote from Emily Dickinson. And it's a very simple, I mean, this isn't, it's very simple statement, but I think it's worth repeating. Saying nothing sometimes says the most.
Wow, it says everything. I love that. The silence
Yeah.
can be the best answer sometimes.
Silence can be the best answer. Sometimes silence is the most appropriate answer.
Absolutely. Wow.
Right? And knowing when to shut up.
Amazing. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for the interview, and you keep in touch. Okay, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
All right. Thanks, William.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.